Hi, I'm Aaron Habig with the Hamilton County Conservation District. I'm here today to help you figure out the best way to take soil samples for a basic soil fertility test. Depending on where you're trying to take the test, whether it be a flower bed, vegetable garden, or a yard, there are different things you have to keep in mind. One is you want to make sure you take a random sample. So it means multiple tests out of the same area. So here we're going to take a sample out of a flower bed, a mulched bed, and then we'll move on to showing how to do it in a lawn. So let's get started. So to take soil samples, you're just going to need a few basic tools. One being some sort of digging implement. In this case, this is just a basic garden trowel. If you don't have a garden trowel, you can use a larger shovel. It just means your soil samples are going to be bigger than you actually need. The other thing you're going to need is some sort of plastic bucket. You don't want to use a metal bucket because that can actually throw off the results. If you don't have a plastic bucket, you can use a large piece of Tupperware or some other plastic container. You just want to make sure it's plastic. So when you're ready to sample, you want to look at your bed and sort of figure out where you're going to take the samples from. You want to do multiple samples in a single bed so you get a better idea of what's going on with the soil in the entire bed instead of just one spot. If it's a mulched bed, you want to remove your mulch layer, so just scrape it back. Then you're going to want to dig down basically a trowel's depth of 5 to 6 inches. The soil sample you get, if there are any large pieces of organic matter, like pieces of mulch or other large organic matter, you want to pull those out and place that sample in your bucket. You will then go to other places in the bed and take the same sample. So now we're going to look at if you're testing for a lawn. Again, we have set up flags in the area to sort of give a random sample area so we can take our multiple samples. I'm going to go ahead and do a sample right here in front of us. A lot of times it works better if you cut around in a circle. That way you can pull out a complete plug. So there's your plug. What you want to do is this top layer that has all the grass on it and all the sort of thatch layer, you want to remove that because again that can throw off the test. So then pick off the excess organic matter, in this case all the little pieces of grass, larger roots, and again place that into your bucket. From there you'll move to the other random places you've picked and go ahead and do the same test there. Okay, so we've gathered our samples. We're going to use the samples I pulled out of the lawn to show you how to process them once they've been pulled. So you've got your plastic bucket full of soil samples. You want to bring it someplace out of the weather. You can do this on the back porch if it's covered. I tend to do it inside so I don't have to worry about it raining on it. Spread it out on, I just use a trash bag. What you want to do is spread it out and let it dry overnight. Again, any organic matter that's made its way in, pull that out. You don't want to include that in the sample. So spread it out. If you have big clumps, you're going to break those up. And then let this dry overnight. Come back to it in the morning. We're going to pretend that it's been overnight and this is now dry. So once everything's dry, you want to make sure it's thoroughly mixed. If you have differential in color, you want to break everything up, mix it till everything's a homogeneous color. And that way you know that you're getting a good even soil sample. So now that everything is evenly broken up, you only need about a half a cup of soil to send in for your test. What you want to do is take your ordinary zip close bag. You're going to write your name and the field ID. So if you're sending in more than one sample, you know where it came from. Just write that on there with a Sharpie. Into that bag, you'll go ahead and place roughly a half cup of your dry soil. Just make sure it's dry. That way it doesn't get moldy in the bag on its way to Penn State. Once you have your half cup of soil in, close your bag. You need to put this into a mailer and mail it to the address on the top of the order form to Penn State. The order form can be found on our website under soil fertility, and you just print this off. This has everything that you need to fill in. So your information, name, address, phone number, email, go in the top section. The optional field ID, your crop code, so what are you trying to grow? In this case, since this is a lawn, we're going to be doing home lawn for maintenance. And if you're doing lawn, what type of grass do you predominantly have? In my case, it's a tall fescue. There are optional tests you can pick from if you so desire. But for a basic soil fertility test, you just need to fill out the top section with your personal information, field ID, and crop code. So once you have your soil sample in the bag, properly labeled, and you've filled out your order form, you'll put both of these into your mailing package along with your check. Basic soil fertility test is $9. If you decide to do any of the optional tests, you'll add that optional test cost to that $9. That check is made out to Penn State University. Drop those into your mailer and send them off to Penn State at the address listed at the top. Generally, it'll take 10 days to 2 weeks to get your results back. If you're doing multiple samples, the smallest U.S. Postal Service flat rate box works well. You can usually fit about 4 or 5 samples into one of those. If not, just a padded envelope works well. Once you get your results back, the results are also sent to me. So if you have questions about your soil fertility test results, you can give me a call, shoot me an email, and I'll be more than happy to go over those results with you. Thanks for learning about how to test your soil for soil fertility. If you end up having any questions, check the comments below for our contact information. Like our Facebook page and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks.